How's it going, guys? It's Ralphie from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's Bitcoin forecast. Today, we'll be going over actually a new set of data that we like to call the SMI. That's the Smart Money Indicator. And then we're going to take a look at the COT as always, taking a look at the asset managers to see what they've been up to this past week. Then we'll wrap it up with some price action to give you guys our weekly and monthly levels that, of course, they're very important week in and week out to follow. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, guys, so getting started here with this new set of data, we have the SMI, that's the Smart Money Indicator, and essentially the way we like to use this is sort of the same way as the COT, and we did that very intentionally because before we even take a look at the market and start making our analysis, you want to know in the anticipatory stage, what we've talked about before, so before you get to the execution part of trading, you want to know sort of like the macro play of kind of like how the market is feeling, and of course we like to call that sentiment, and that's kind of what the COT does, but with the leverage positions in the CME market, right? So we get to look at the asset managers and see whether they're accumulating by adding longs or they're distributing by lessening short or adding shorts or whatever the case may be, right? So here we're actually able to do the same thing, and we can start to see whether the smart money is accumulating or distributing. Now, when they're accumulating, we're going to call that the bullish sentiment. And then when they're distributing, we're going to call it bearish sentiment. Now, the reason why I chose the word sentiment here, right? It's more of the general feeling of the market is because this is not much like the COT. It's not, and as much as it might look so in hindsight, this is not, it turned red, we're going to automatically sell. Oh, it turned blue or green. As you're going to see in these pictures, those are the same colors, then we're going to buy. Okay, that's not the case. It just means that the market is setting up, it's positioning itself to be accumulating, and eventually when they get enough positions that they want, they've accumulated enough, then the market's going to turn around. Now again, based on the title of this video, what makes it so exciting is that the last time that the smart money accumulated this many positions and they felt this good about the market, Bitcoin price, as you can see here, again, it might be a little bit hard to see because of the 90-day data when I show you guys. So if I show you guys the 30-day data, it should look a little bit like this. You see right here how it's red and green. That's how it's gonna look on a 30-day basis, but on a 90-day basis, again, it's really hard to see the colors. So then we made them blue, and you can see right here, after this big drop from 50K to 40K, that was the first time the smart money actually started accumulating. It turned a little bit blue, so let's zoom in here, see if you guys can see. It turned blue. It went from, again, this is supposed to be red, but it looks more white than anything. But it turned from red, white to blue. Then it turned, red or white again, whatever you want to call it. Then it turned blue again here. And again, once the low was made, then they start to distribute those positions. Now remember, as we said, this is more of a sentiment tool. So what do we use to confirm these biases? Well, we use our weekly and monthly levels that we, obviously share with you guys every single week. Now, this comes into us as a picture every single day or every single interval that we choose into our Discord group. Now, we're not going to share the Discord links with you guys because that's for BTH Premium members only. But once a week, I'll try to come on here and show you guys kind of like how the market and the smart money might be positioned, whether the sentiment is bullish or is bearish. So again, last time this happened, we had a 60% rally, and again, look at this beauty. Now we're starting to get, again, on December 5th, after the drop. So notice that it wasn't even during the drop. So the drop happened, and then a few days later, the smart money finally started to, I guess, feel good about the market and they started accumulating positions. And then it briefly turned for distribution again, so the sentiment turned bearish. And then now look at what we have here. Sentiment is bullish, and that's the only time on this specific one, because we have one for the short term, we have one for the long term. So this is our long-term sentiment for the smart money, the SMI, and this is the only two times in the past 3 months that it has turned, in the past 90 days that it has turned bullish. Okay, so that's a very, very strong reading, and we're pretty excited about this, and it makes us feel pretty good that the low is near if it's not in already. Okay, now again, when we go back to the 30 days, so you can see right here, this is 30 days worth of data, and this is still the long term sentiment. We're not going to show you guys the short term. Again, we're saving that for the BTH Premium Discord group. But you can see right here how we have a bunch of selling that was going on this entire time. So that's why I was so careful. And again, I wish I could have shown you this to you guys, in the previous videos, but we did not have this set up yet. We're kind of trying to figure out the logistics and stuff of the data, but you can see that if you guys remember back in the price action videos that I've been making for the past 3 weeks, remember the past 3 weeks we were trying to go above the previous week's weekly level, and we never were able to. And then when you couple that with the fact that they were distributing, you can see, well, bearishness there. Again, they hit another peak in distribution there when it fell down, so the sentiment just stayed bearish. It was never able to flip bullish. Now finally they flushed all these positions out, and look at this. As I just mentioned, the colors look weird, and I'll never show the 90-day chart again, I don't think. We'll just be keeping an eye on this 30-day one, and you can see right here how it turned bullish there, and that led to a nice rally in price. Then the price dropped on very small, which I was actually very surprised that this type of distribution actually caused that right there. But remember that last week we actually had our weekly level be bullish, so even though the market dropped, we weren't afraid of this because we knew it had been caused and anchored by a lot of accumulation on the smart money. And then now you can see what happens right here. So we're back to the smart money accumulating, and in a big way. And like I said earlier, if this is the second time that this has been shown in the past 90 days, and the first time it happened it led to a 60+% move higher on Bitcoin. Guys, what do you think is going to happen now as the year is ending, as everyone's fearing for their money, for their, maybe life savings or whatever it may be? I would like to bet on the bullish side. This is the first time you guys are seeing this data, but it's definitely not the first time I've seen it, and it's pretty exciting. So again, I'm just happy to finally be able to share it with you guys. So with that being said, let's move on to the Commitment of Traders report to see what the asset managers have been saying, and then move on to the price. So let's move on. Okay, guys, so taking a look here at the COT for the asset managers as of December 7th. Remember, this data runs from Tuesday to Tuesday. We can see that the longs by the asset managers have increased by a total of 100 to 5,826, and the shorts have increased by 16 to a total 718 contracts. Now, the one thing that we need to note here is that even though the shorts increased a little bit, the increase in longs was enough to offset that, and because of that, we're still 89% long. Now, we obviously haven't been worried about the COT, which means we haven't really been too focused on dissecting every tiny little movement of it for the past 2 or 3 months now, maybe 3 or 4. I don't even remember anymore. But we've been long for so long because once you hit the 60 level, once the longs go above 60, which you can see it happened here. And then once they finally hit 80%, that's when you're starting to get to the point of, oh, look, we're swing trading. Now it's just a matter of how our weekly levels looking, and any of the other concepts that we might have taught you guys, or we might be teaching you guys in the BTH Premium group of like how does the structure of the market look, and a bunch of other type of stuff. But basically you add any other type of TA, any other type of macro stuff, and then you're just trying to guess the macro sentiment, kind of like the SMI. It's already set in stone, right? It's already bullish. It's just a matter of, are we going to drop, retrace to some sort of a discount or whatever it may be before we actually take off. And actually, if you guys take a look at the last time this happened, so you can see right here, we went straight from about 35. Remember, we want to hit 60% first in position longs, and that's your first level. Then it's 80. So this one went straight from about 30 something straight to 80. Now when it hit 80, as you guys can see right here, we then had the drop, okay? And that's kind of what's happening right now, except this time it was a 3-week drop. It wasn't just a 1 week and done type of thing. But nonetheless, you can see how it sustained for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that led to that massive rally. So I'm wondering, now that the SMI is bullish, the sentiment there in the spot market is bullish, obviously the sentiment here has been bullish. When is price going to catch up? And then, even all the time that we were up here, we were warning that if these weekly levels, right, if the current week level the current weekly price could not go back above the previous week's levels that we had marked out, then you were pretty much looking to go back to this demand. Now, when we were down here, I really didn't think it was going to do it so aggressively, but again, it used it as resistance, as you guys saw in last week's video, and that's what happened. So I guess the key here is now to look at how everything will float around our weekly level. So I guess with that being said, guys, again, nothing much has changed here. We're still bullish in the COT because of the sentiment, and now we're going to take a look at price to see how that's going to develop. That's when the things are going to start to get a little bit more interesting, when we look at last week's level and this week's level. And of course, because we're below the monthly level of this month, that it's kind of iffy at the moment. So we'll take a look at that in just a few seconds. Okay, guys, now before I continue any further and start talking about the price action part, I do have to say I've been mentioning the BTH Premium Group throughout this video quite a few times, but I want you to know that it's not live yet. We only have a select group of people. It's in beta testing at the moment, and then we'll open it up to the public. So yeah, just want to throw that in there real quick in case you guys are wondering about that. But if you're interested, just give me a shout out, DM me, whatever it may be. And I don't know if we'll create like a waiting list or whatever. But with that being said, moving on to the price action here, we can see, of course, as we just talked about, we were always expecting this weekly demand if we weren't able to find any support up here to get hit. You can see it quite beautifully has bounced off of it. Now, this is the third time we're actually hitting it, and actually, again, based on everything I'm seeing, I need this to hold here. If it doesn't hold, that's also the quarterly open I got hit on the bottom of that spike, then we could be in for some real trouble. And honestly, would be mind blown, because how much more are they going to accumulate, as you guys saw here in the SMI, and the COT is already bullish. So this was just the only level I had, the entire time. I mean, could we sweep and then just get really dirty and hit this right here? I mean, we'd have to do it super fast, super aggressively. It would just be like, kind of like if you guys remember back at $3,700, $4,000 back in, I think it was December, late November, December of 2019. It would be something like that, where it just happens so quickly and then it just takes off. But again, that's not in the cards for me for right now. And I'm going to tell you why. When I go down to this 4-hour chart, you can see right here that and as you can see, these premiums were the weekly levels that we have been respecting, as we talked about earlier in the SMI, when the market was more distribution than anything else. And this big blue box, again, this is just for people who have not been watching the videos for the past few weeks or might be brand new. This is our discount zone, right? So that's just a fib level between 61 to the 79. Nothing new there. Nothing special. The really special part is, again, last week's level was this one right here. So when the week opened, we were somewhere around here. We're already above the weekly level, so we expected it to be bullish. And as you guys now know, that was also the time when we had accumulation on the SMI. And by the way, we had one tiny dip here of accumulation. I must have missed this one, and that's what led to this right here. But again, when this rally happened, which that was when we were temporarily trying to go above the previous week's level, we actually did not end up doing so, and then it retested it right here. But that's a side note right there. But nonetheless, again, we bounced off the week level here, went up, and then we hit it again one time. Well, we just missed it there, then we hit it a second time there, and now we went off of it. Now again, that's last week's level, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And now for this week's level, because our level was just so close to the previous one, I decided to merge them together, and it gave me this zone. Okay, so as I posted here on our Twitter, one thing to watch will be how the daily candles close around this level. Again, now you can see why I'm so bullish and why I'm comparing this so much to September. Someone on Twitter, funnily enough, told me that this felt to them kind of like September, and as you can see, because of the the SMI that we have here, you can see that, again, it reminds us a lot of September. And just to show you guys right here, look at that. It was actually a 73% rally on Bitcoin last time this signal happened. So, I mean, if we had another, replicate of that, I don't know if we would match it from the bottom there or not, but that would put us in a new all-time high. And I've always remained that we were going to hit between 70 to 75K, and then I would have to reassess the market to see if we're going to keep going further to the 100K that everyone wants. And that's why I'm trading altcoins, because, a 70% on Bitcoin would be a much larger move on these altcoins like Ethereum and Zcash or anything like that. But again, as you can see here, we had one big aggressive move lower, straight down. So if this is going to be the low, we have to do it quickly and aggressively. And maybe in the next 2 days, we'll have our answer. So again, the only thing that my only reservation is, even if we are staying bullish on the weekly, right? So last week we were bullish as we hit this weekly demand. We saw the SMI give us a bullish signal. we still need to cross back above this monthly level, okay? So that would be a 20% rally just to go above that level. And actually, before we even get to that level, I have to mark this out. And it would be 52,000 right here. So that's a very important level for us. And you can see right here, we already hit it once, used it as resistance. And I was kind of worried when we hit that last week, you know, this past week, that then we would go back below our week low from last week. But you know what? It held. And now, unfortunately, we had to use this supply zone right here. And we weren't able to go back above it. But maybe this time will be, you know, third time's a charm. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on that. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll see you you know, next Monday. And if you want to keep seeing analysis like this, tomorrow Misha will give you guys an update on the altcoins. I know Zcash kind of sort of did what he wanted. Well, one of the two scenarios that he was expecting. So he'll update you guys on that. And with that being said, if you find some value in this, make sure you share it with your friends and family. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Write in the comments, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, maybe something else that we can fix or upgrade or whatever the case may be. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day and stay safe.